get your statement up. So Frank brought his statement in, and this is such an awesome thing because listen, go online and get your statement. If you're 50 years old, go and get it. You don't have to be about to go on Social Security. Let me tell you why. Because remember I said they're tracking it? Well, you need to also be tracking it because all it takes is a little typo and it could impact you for the rest of your life in retirement. Verify that they have the information correct. And these statements are amazing because they lay it out a visual. It's so easy to understand as to how much you're going to get year after year after year that you defer or wait to actually process or start getting Social Security. For example, you're waiting till for retirement age or waiting until you're 70 or just starting it at 62. It lays it out for you, and it is actually very user friendly. So if you can go again, it's www.ssa Social Security Administration. That's what it stands for. ssa.gov. ssa.gov. Go on there, log in, get yourself connected to that, and see where you stand, because that is one of the first things we ask when people come to visit us is, where is your Social Security? What is it going to be? And how can we maximize it? So then you prepare all your documentation. You may need to schedule an appointment, whether you do that online or you call like Frank and I are doing right now, and be patient because we're giving ourselves 30, 20.
Well, there's local offices.
35.
We call it the national office. We call it the national line, right?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you have to have an appointment if you go to the local office.
I haven't visited. I'm not sure. So.
I haven't either. Maybe we can ask somebody if they answer. If you have to have an appointment to just walk in. I don't actually, the best thing to do is call and make an appointment and you can also schedule an appointment for them to call you, which I have found to work the best. So if you get prompted to have someone call you back, typically the person that calls back knows more. I feel like there's some sort of, because I've made these calls a lot, helping people get on Medicare and Social Security. I have a lot of experience, believe it or not, making these calls. So when you call, if you just hit the number and say, hit the prompts to have them call you back. Here's my opinion. I don't have any verification of this. I don't know anyone that works there to verify. But it seems as though the people that actually call you back are more experienced, and maybe there is a kind of like a pyramid, a hierarchy.
Yeah. Who call back.
Yeah, like you earn. Yeah, if you're good enough, you earn the ability to call out instead of having people call you. And I also think that you end up connecting with someone quicker.
And people make mistakes, just because they work for the government and they work at the Social Security Administration, you want to confirm, trust but verify. That was Reagan, you trust what these people are saying. They're the government speaking to you, but people make mistakes. And sometimes the questions you have may be complicated and they may not understand everything and may give you an incorrect answer.
Yeah, and so like you were,
it's important that, a lot of times, in the military, I'd always say when it came to fixing helicopters, well, what's your reference?
Yeah.
If they're telling you something about the government, then there should be a reference about how your Social Security works. Would you mind sharing where that reference is?
Nice.
How about that, huh?
Yes. Now you sound like an attorney. It's good. So here's a list of documentation that you may need. I started rattling them off, but then I didn't finish. Birth certificate, your Social Security card, proof of citizenship, and in that case, if you're not born in the United States, which here in Florida we have a lot of that, your passport, certificate of citizenship, or a permanent resident card, but keep those documents. Proof of income. You may need to provide documentation of your income, and that can include pay stubs, tax returns, or other evidence of earnings, work history, earnings records.
You would think, right? So, this is an interesting, I worked for the federal government for a long time, and you would think, though, that, you call the Social Security Administration, and you're talking to the government, and you might think that, well, it's the U.S. government, so they know what my tax records are, right? No, that's not the case. Like, the person who is answering the phone at Social Security does not have access to your tax records.
Yes. Right.
I mean, even
that would be the IRAs.
Somebody in the United States Army, because I had a pay issue one time, right? And so, talking to the people who were processing your pay and the people who were responsible for inputting the record are different people, and they have no idea. It's like, it was very You know, you
And
think you're talking to the government, they should know, but
So
that's not always the case.
this one, what I just said, work history and earnings records.
Yeah.
Earnings records are what you're going to see when you log in right now. So whether you're retired, like let's just say someone like me, for example, I could log in and see my earnings records that have been registered with the Social Security, and I can verify that they've been input correctly. And then if there is any sort of conflict or something that's not accurate, I can handle it now. And when I probably have, I'm more likely to have verification versus 20 years from now when I'm trying to apply for benefits. So earnings records is something that you want to pay close attention to long before you become eligible for Social Security. Marriage, divorce certificates, medical records, that's if you're applying for disability benefits, bank account information if you want, direct deposit, that's huge. Making sure you have all of that ready to go, because what would happen if you went for the appointment and you get there and you don't have your routing information and everything you need
what a mess.
to set it up. So don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, there's still, now this is a live program. If you'd like
yes.
to call in, you got questions or comments about Social Security, you'd like to contribute to the program today, please feel free to call in. You can reach us here at the station, Mindie or I, at 772-221-1100. 772-221-1100. We're here taking your calls today on the Mindie Molina Show. You're listening to live, WCNO in Palm City.
Thank you, Frank. And also, if you are listening and you want to go on and leave a review, you can at our Google. You can go look up Mindie. It's Mindie with an I-E, Molina, and leave some comments about the show. We've been really trying to bring you as much good information as we can, so we appreciate you listening to WCNO. And we're here every Wednesday from 4 to 5.
You know, talking about the diligent pay records, you know,
Yes.
looking at your paycheck to make sure you're being paid accurately as well. Like I'm telling you, like I had a pay error. I had errors in my pay in the Army, and I had to try and get it fixed. It was a horrible nightmare. You can imagine the federal government. So, but, you know, it's like 6.2% is your FICA.
I'm so glad that you just brought this up, because guess what? Huge issue with you can be paying in. There are issues with your employer. Just because you work for an employer doesn't mean that you're actually, in your pay stub might say you're contributing to FICA. But until you log into Social Security and confirm on your own behalf, what did I say?
FICA. Well, FICA's
Oh, sorry.
Tax. That's income tax.
Income tax, but Social Security tax. Until you, you look at all your deductions that are coming out of your pay stub. Until you go in and make sure that your stuff is up to date, there's a chance, and this is a horror story, but there are people who have worked for 40 years and their employer was robbing them, their employer,
not paying
payroll companies, not actually paying.
Your employer contributes.
You contributed, but then it never made it. It never made it to
there's a
Social
state tax
Security.
bill.
So guess who
on the hook
is like? Yeah, it's you. At the end of the day, it's you. All right. No one's coming to save the day. It's you. And there are people out there who are not getting the Social Security they're entitled to. And had they been going on to socialsecurity.gov, SSA.gov, and looking at their statement, like Frank is registered in and has it, and they would have recognized that there was a problem. But so pay attention. Don't trust.
Another aspect to this is, are you withholding the right amount?
Yes.
So as you go through your career, like you're with the same employer, you've been with that employer 20 years. You got married, you got kids. Like you should have adjusted your withholding, right? You got hired, you were single, claiming zero, so maybe you got this big paycheck back, which is a loan to the government for that time. Like, why am I loaning the government? If you get big tax returns, that means I might not be managing my money so well, and I'm letting the government hold that money and pay me back at a later date because you were owed that money throughout the year. You could have that money added into your paycheck every month and then invest it or save it for a rate of return instead of the government giving it to you after April or June, or when do you file your taxes?
Micromanaging your own money. It's so important. You have to be diligent. No one is doing it.
We'll help you.
That's why you need an advisor that's going to coach you and help you and encourage you and hopefully inspire you to do these things and to take control and micromanage your own money, because every little bit that you let go, someone else is getting. That's just how it is. So Social Security and Medicare. Are we still on hold?
We're still on hold.
We're still on hold with
Wanna
Social
hear?
Security. So there is obviously a great correlation between Social Security and Medicare. Social Security, you become eligible at 62. Medicare, you become eligible at 65. And believe it or not, a lot of times people delay starting Social Security until they become eligible for Medicare, because maybe typically it's a spouse. Or they want to keep working, they want to keep their job so they have those benefits until and kind of
age 65.
cross that gap. I think a lot of people would retire a lot earlier if
The health insurance.
yeah, if it wasn't for health insurance costs.
So expensive.
65 is a really big time when people start Social Security. And if you do, so let's say I just did a couple little quick scenarios here. You can enroll at the same time. So if you decide I'm going to enroll for Social Security, apply for Social Security, and enroll in Medicare all at the same time, so at 65, you can do that at the exact same time on SSA.gov. A lot of people do that. So when they start Medicare, they go ahead and start Social Security. I think that's, again,
as we talked about,
a convenient
income restrictions. You may have income restrictions and tax restrictions, or
Yes.
increased tax burdens and increased
Yep, all those things
restrictions
apply.
on income. Just be aware if you're not full retirement.
if you're not fully retired. Yeah, if you're not
full
fully
Social
retirement
Security,
age.
full Social Security age. To be clear.
So then what you're going to do is you're automatically signed up for Part A, but you can you enroll in Part B and your Social Security income at the same time. So then Part B, the payment that you have to make to Medicare to pay for Medicare, Part B, comes out of your Social Security check. That's how. Part D, which pays for prescription plans, you can have that payment deducted from your Social Security income. Okay, well, let's say that you don't want to enroll in Social Security income because you're going to keep working, so you want to wait until your full retirement age to start Social Security, but you do want to go on Medicare. Well, if that's the case, they can't take your Medicare payment out of your Social Security income because you're not getting it.
Yep.
You haven't started it. So they bill you quarterly for 3 months of your Medicare payment. So you would just pay it like a regular
They take credit
bill.
card, you think, or Piggly Wiggly stamps?
Yeah, no. No. They'll take your hard-earned cash, though. They'll deduct it right out of your bank account.
Routing number and bank account
Yeah, you
number,
just
right?
need those routing numbers. Okay, so that's Medicare. Let's talk about our claiming strategies, because this is a really big one and something that impacts a lot of people and sometimes confuses people, and even maybe they don't know what they're entitled to. But here's just a few different claiming strategies. What is a claiming strategy? It means when you apply for, it's like, how are you going to apply for your Social Security benefits? For example, a husband and wife, if the wife was the high income earner, it might benefit the husband to get her to apply based off her benefit versus his own. Or typically, spouse will apply off of one or the other. Now, go ahead.
The reason you're mentioning this too, because if you file your taxes, which isn't the way you file your taxes, so if you're married filing jointly, these things matter significantly.
Early claiming. All right, early claiming is when you claim Social Security before your full retirement age. So let's say at 62 and your full retirement age is 67 and you file at 62. That means you're doing an early claiming and you are basically giving up a portion of your entitlement,
Your full benefit.
in order to get it a little bit
Get it
early.
early.
There you go. Full retirement age, we've been beating that nail in the head,
It's
hopefully.
if you're born after 1960, it's 67 years old to be full. If
Full
you're born
retirement.
1960 or later, full retirement is
67.
67.
So full retirement age, again, once you meet that, you can collect the full amount of your benefit. So you could have a full-time job making $500,000 a year, or what, is there a limit on how you can claim? Irregardless.
For Social Security, it's $160,200. Social Security tax paid on
Yeah,
income
so-
up to $160,200.
As the
Social Security tax paid on income up to.
up to. So what happens if you're making
You
$500,000?
have to pay
Because
Social
that's what I
Security
just
tax
thought.
above that, evidently.
Okay.
They're going to take.
Let's just say
share.
you're making 100,000.
It's a
Keep it simple.
percentage up to that amount.
Then you can still receive. The point is, you can work and get your income, and you can get your full benefit at the same time. Then that's full retirement age. Delayed claiming. Delayed claiming is when you, even though you are at your full retirement age, you still don't take it and you let it ride because it goes up 8% or 8.33% every single year up to age 70. At age 70, it doesn't go up anymore. So that's delayed claiming. Spousal claiming. Spousal claiming is when married individuals are able to claim spousal benefits, which allows them to receive up to 50% of their spouse's benefit amount, even if they have no work history or have lower earnings. So I have an example of that one. We'll get into that. Divorced spouse claiming. Divorced individuals who were married for at least 10 years and are currently unmarried, you have to currently be unmarried, may be able to claim benefits based on their ex-spouse's earnings, based off their earning history. So if you're married to someone, it was a higher income earner than you, but you're unmarried, and I think you have to have been divorced. You have to be divorced for 2 years, too. So you can't be divorced today and then go file. You have to wait 2 years. And you have to have been married 10 years, and you can't get remarried. However, I don't know if you can get remarried and then get divorced again if you have options. Nowadays, figuring it out. Restricted application. This is a really popular one, okay? It's called restricted application. This is when you have individuals born before January 2nd, 1954. They're able to do what's called restricted application. Again, January 2nd, 1954. This strategy is where you claim your spousal benefit, and I'm going to show you or share with you an example, but you claim your spousal benefit. So I would claim on my husband's benefit and let my benefit ride up. And then once I got to age 70, I would switch from his benefit to mine. And now mine is so much more. But meanwhile, while it was growing, I was still collecting an income from my spouse. That's called restricted application. Survivor benefit claiming. Surviving spouses. So spouses or ex-spouses. So spouses who have passed. Surviving spouses or surviving ex-spouses may be eligible to claim what are called survivor benefits. So spousal benefits, but now they're called survivor benefits based on the earnings record of their deceased spouse or deceased ex-spouse, which could provide them a higher benefit. So if you are interested in claiming your benefit based on your spouse or your ex because of divorce or because your spouse has passed away, either way, there's a way for you to claim. They're just labeled a little differently. File and suspend. This strategy is used, it used to be really popular, but now it's pretty limited. And it involved where one spouse files for benefits and then immediately suspended them, allowing the other spouse to claim spousal benefits. And then while the spouse is claiming benefits that on the highest earnings record or the highest earner, then it allows the higher earner to defer and let theirs grow and accumulate, and then they turn it on later on. Again, it's that getting one income and letting the other one ride and then switching over later. All right, filing for retroactive benefits. This is where individuals are eligible for Social Security benefits but delay their claim. They can actually request a lump sum payment for up to 6 months retroactive. So let's say you didn't claim and now you're 63 and you could apply for the amount you would have got at age 62 and get 6 months payments back. So that's filing for retroactive benefits. And those are all the claiming strategies that I have to go over with you. Are we still on hold?
We're still on hold.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the hold music for Social Security. Is it good? Is it anything good? Oh, there it is. It's 4:48. I wonder how close we are.
22 minutes and 47 seconds.
We're 22 minutes in. Okay.
We're calling the National Social Security Office to see how long it takes to answer the phone. If you're listening to our live program and we've been talking about Social Security today in its various aspects. If you'd like to call in and contribute or you have any questions, you can reach us here at the station at 772-221-1100. 772-221-1100. You can feel free to reach out to us also at mindiemolina.com, on YouTube, Facebook.
Yes.
Twitter,
Instagram. Yeah, all of it. Just search up, as my kids say. You know, we say Google this or that. Now some people use Siri or Alexa. My kids say search up. So just search up Mindie Molina and you will find us. MINDIEMOLINA. So I have this little map, and it's like a maze.
A block diagram.
It's a maze, a diagram. Yeah, of how to navigate
a lot of blocks in it.
A little bit of how to navigate this stuff. So this one that we're looking at is Social Security as a surviving spouse. And I'm just going to go through some of the questions because this is how we, try to help you too figure it out. It's not that we can actually do it. However, we can at least give you good advice and give you tips and be a resource to help you. It's not what you know, it's what you don't know. So the more we can at least introduce concepts to you and ideas to you, the more you at least know what to start researching and where to begin. So in this one, this is Social Security as a surviving spouse. So this is where the income earner has passed away. Now, so that is the question. Has your spouse passed away? Yes. Did a divorced spouse pass away? Say no. Do you have a child collecting dependent care benefits? And this is something else to consider because I actually know a situation like this where the husband is becoming eligible for Social Security. He's going to be 62, might already be, he's in his 60s, but he has young children with a second marriage who are still in school. They're all under their dependents. They're all under 18. When he qualifies for Social Security, they might also be able to apply for benefits. Right?
Yeah. And the thing is, too, I believe now, too, this is very complicated, and you make sure you talk to an expert, but those benefits aren't reduced.
Yeah. I have to look up more because like I said, I just came across this very recently and I was like,
or two men for that matter.
Wait, yeah, because he was having a birthday and a light bulb went off. I'm like, wait, he's going to be going on Social Security. Could his kids get Social Security? So I got to have closure to that in my mind.
So Mindy's following this.
I'm following this map. I took a tangent.
So every time if you answered the question differently, then you go in
a different
direction,
different answer.
It's
Yes.
It's a block diagram.
It's a block diagram, but I'm able to navigate that way, and I can certainly try to help you navigate that way. And then I won't bore you with it because it could get really complicated. One of the most important things, though, what I want to close with the next 10 minutes, unless somebody at Social Security picks up, we'll talk to them. However, what I do want to close with is, when do we start taking Social Security? Like we said before, depends. All right, well, what does it depend on?
It really depends.
It really depends, but it depends on your financial situation and how Social Security fits into your overall retirement strategy, what your long-term plan is. And here, you hear me say it, invest to retire. No income, no retirement. Income is such a giant building block. It is like the foundation of your retirement. And if your investment plan and your Social Security plan isn't planned around your income for the rest of your life, then it doesn't sound like a very good retirement plan to me. Because if your investment plan blows up, which could easily happen with the stock market, could easily happen with the economy or a war, or anything could happen, and the investment plan is no good anymore.
And the other side of that is the expense plan. So making sure you understand and know all of your expenses. And people, every time we sit down with people and go over their expense plan, and the level of detail that we take our clients into, they are surprised oftentimes to realize how much their expenses really are.
It's
true.
true.
They're just shooting off the hip until you put pen to paper and really write down and analyze what your expenses are every month, and then thinking about your annual expenses and how you pay those annual expenses.
And applying those to inflation. Inflation is really big.
So you have all these different bills. You have to calculate these things to know, in order to know how much income I need, you got to know what your expenses are.
Exactly.
Is what I'm saying. It's two sides of the coin.
Two sides. So when you delay your benefit, right? So at age 62, I'm looking at an example right now. This is how it can roll up. Not only is it going up 8%, but also there's COLA, cost of living allowance. Yeah, so that goes up.
Yeah.
Thank you. It goes up. So
there hasn't been much, but since the inflation's been so high, it was huge. It was over 8% last year.
Yeah.
So it got big.
And it can really impact you down the road in your later years. So if you start taking Social Security in your 60s, what we're talking about now is what's it going to look like in your 80s, okay? 20 years later. And this is when I see it really starts to matter. All right. So in this example, this person is 62 years old. And if they start, they're only going to get 75% of their, PIA, it's called, but what they're entitled to, and that's $1,850. Okay. If they wait until they're 70 to take it, now they're going to get 132%. So they went from getting 75% of what they should get.
Retirement age we're talking about, right? Yep.
No, it's 62, so early.
Yeah, well, I'm saying the percentages you're.
But now I'm jumping to 70.
Off of full. Or based off.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
100 at 66.
Yes, 75% of your PIA, which is what your full retirement benefit would be, and then when you go down here, and this is based off of if the COLA was 2.8%, and then you get the standard increase of 8%, then your benefit would now be, it would go from 1,850 all the way up to 3,255, and with the COLA, it's 4,060. Okay, yeah, that's a huge jump.
It's a huge difference. Yeah.
1850 to 4060.
You gotta make it to that age.
1850 sounds good. Yeah, it does. But yeah, you also have to make it to that age. So how do we know when it is a good idea? Here's a couple examples. So this is Colleen. Colleen at 62 would have got $1,400. And if she at 67, she gets $2,000. At 70, she gets $2,480. And so if she just takes a straight benefit, it's really just going to be based off of how much money she needs because she's single. So her strategy is going to be very simple. But claiming strategy for Anne is a little more complicated because she's a widow. And so for the Social Security benefit scenario for her is that, one, she could just claim now at 62, take her strategy. It's $1,237. She'd get that for the rest of her life. Or she could do this restricted application strategy that I talked about before, which is where she takes her survivor benefit based off what her husband earned, or based off his earning records, takes a surviving benefit of $1,237 until she's 70 years old. And then she can wait, and at age 70, her benefit will have accumulated because of that example I just showed you between COLA and that 8% roll-up. And now she can switch back to her own benefit, and now she's earning $1,860, which is amazing. And a strategy that a lot of people don't know about. So how much time do we have?
About a minute, 45.
All right, give me one, I can use it. So this next example is this. This couple is... they've got $2.5 million in assets. They're dual income earners. They've made about $200,000 a year between the two of them combined, right? So now they're both going to be taking Social Security. If they take Social Security at age 62, based on an income strategy, investment plan, all of it, everything being exactly the same. If they start, and this is with them starting Social Security, by the time they get to age 84, their Social Security is not enough to keep up with inflation of their expenses. And at age 84, they have to start taking money from their investments in order to make up for that gap. Now, if they just waited, yes, early on, if at 62, they would have an extra $1,000 a month in expenditures. But if they wait until 67, they never have to take money. They never end up having to take money from their Social Security benefit or from their investments. Sorry, I'm getting rushed to kind of finish up here. But my point is it's different for everybody. And that little extra income in the beginning might not be worth it. It might be worth to wait till 67. Well, this is the Mindie Molina Show. I thank you all for listening. I thank you for watching online. And we just pray that you have a blessed day and that you will reach out to us if you need help with Social Security benefits. And remember that God loves you and there's nothing anyone can do about it.